Welcome to The Explainer. If you've ever felt just totally overwhelmed, stuck, or just exhausted by life, you are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to dig into a really powerful way to think about and deal with burnout. And it comes from the experiences of young people in South Korea.
Let's just start with a feeling I think a lot of us can relate to. It's that quiet, nagging sense that you're a work in progress. That you're not quite where you're supposed to be. You're always striving, but you never feel like you've actually arrived.
Well, in South Korea, they have a word for this, and it's perfect. It's misang. Now, this idea got super popular because of a hit TV show, but the word itself actually comes from the board game Go. It describes a game piece that isn't settled yet, a life that's still unfinished. It just perfectly captures that feeling of being incomplete.
But here's the thing. Misang isn't about being stuck forever. It's really a reminder that the struggle itself holds the potential for growth. Because, as the quote says, a road that you can't move forward on, that's not really a road at all. So, how did this feeling, this idea of being on an unfinished road, come to define a whole generation?
This feeling of being a misang has become so common, so widespread, that people now use it to talk about an entire generation. A generation that's facing just immense societal pressure and a really uncertain future.
Look, we live in a world that is screaming at us to be perfect all the time, so it's pretty easy to feel like you're failing. But what if the journey, with all its messiness, all its detours, all its seeming failures, is actually the brilliant part? The whole idea here is to see the value in the struggle itself, not just in some perfect final outcome.
But this feeling, it's not just some philosophical idea. It is showing up in some stark, really alarming numbers. The data coming out of South Korea is basically a national SOS signal. It's a cry for help that we all really need to pay attention to.
Get this. As of last year, more than 500,000 young people in South Korea were officially classified as resting. That means they weren't working, they weren't in school, and they weren't in any kind of job training. They've essentially just opted out of the race completely.
So what is going on here? What's driving this? Well, the causes have created a total perfect storm. You can see the key factors here: not enough jobs, trouble with education, total burnout, and mental health struggles. But the thing is, they aren't separate problems. They're all tangled up. Each one makes the others worse, and it creates this vicious cycle that's just incredibly hard to break out of.
And this pressure cooker of an environment, it creates a culture where so many people feel like they constantly have to be looking over their shoulder, checking on what everyone else is doing. You feel like you can't use your vacation days, you can't speak up. You're stuck in this relentless competition where you feel like the weak one just for needing a break.
Okay, so in response to this crisis, a psychiatrist and business expert, Dr. Lee Hoo-king, he offers this really clear three-part prescription. And this isn't about blaming anyone. It's about giving people new tools, a prescription for the heart, really, to navigate this incredibly difficult new reality.
Right. So these aren't simple, quick fixes. Not at all. They are powerful shifts in how you see the world, designed to help you get back a sense of control and meaning. And the first step, well, it might just be the most freeing one of all.
The very first step is huge. It's to realize you are not the problem. I mean, if you look around and you see that everyone, your friends, your coworkers, is struggling with the exact same things, that's a massive sign. The issue isn't you, it's structural.
So what do you do? The most important thing is to break that feeling of isolation. Talk to people. Seriously, ask them, how are you coping with this? And from there, you can start to build survival strategies together. You can't fix the whole system by yourself, but you can find the parts of your own life that you can control and start to design your life with courage right inside those boundaries. Okay, so once you see that bigger picture, Dr. Lee's next piece of advice is to bring your focus back, way back, to the here and now. This is all about finding some freedom, a little bit of ownership in the present moment, even when everything else feels totally out of your control. And this brings us to this incredible contrast: the slave's path versus the king's path. Think about it. Are you on the slave's path, always doing what other people expect, chasing some future reward that might not even exist? Or can you choose the king's path? Can you find your own sense of royalty, of joy in the small daily choices? We're talking something as simple as choosing coffee over tea. Not because you always do, but because in that one moment, it's what you actually want.
This ancient Sumerian proverb just nails it, doesn't it? Our sense of freedom, our royalty, it's an internal state of mind. It has nothing to do with your job title or how much money you have. It's about your ability to own your choices, no matter how small they seem.
And finally, we get to the third prescription. Now, if you feel completely swamped by a never-ending to-do list, by 100 different goals pulling you every which way, the advice is pretty radical. Just stop.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. Why would you waste something as precious as your life? Your one, single, priceless pearl, chasing after little, fleeting targets like passing birds. The idea is, when you let all those minor distracting goals just fade away, that's when your one true purpose can finally come into focus in the quiet. So when you put it all together, this whole prescription is really a call to action. It's about living with intention, seeing the systems we're all stuck in, and then discovering that feeling of royalty in our own choices, in our own autonomy, no matter what our situation is.
And that leaves us all with one final question to think about. It's a challenge, really, to just pause for a second, look at the path you're on, and ask yourself honestly, is this really my own? And that's a question that matters whether you're in Seoul or London or anywhere else in the world, just trying to find your way from an incomplete life to a brilliant one.